The small spacecraft flew through the darkness of space. Its silver hull gleamed under the light of distant stars. Inside, Captain Do-hyun sat in his command chair. He was only 15 centimeters tall, like all members of the Nuri species. "Status. Report," Do-hyun said. His voice was calm but firm. Navigator Jay turned from her control panel. "All systems normal, Captain. We are now entering the uncharted solar system." Do-hyun nodded. This mission was the greatest achievement of his career. The Starlight Pioneer was the most advanced ship ever built by the Nuri. It could travel farther than any ship before it. Their mission was simple: find new life among the stars. "Captain, I'm picking up unusual energy readings from the third planet," said Science Officer Hana. Her eyes were wide with excitement. "These patterns suggest advanced technology." Do-hyun tried to hide his surprise. In 200 years of space exploration, the Nuri had found only simple life forms, never anything with technology. "Show me," he ordered. A large screen lit up at the front of the bridge. It showed a blue and green planet, partly covered in white clouds. "Magnify," said Do-hyun. The image zoomed in to show land masses, then cities, then buildings and roads. The bridge fell silent. Everyone stared at the screen. "Are those structures?" whispered Tae, the communications specialist. "They're enormous." Hana worked quickly at her station. "I'm analyzing their size now. Captain, if my calculations are correct, these structures were built by beings much larger than us." "How much larger?" Do-hyun asked. Hana looked up from her Tae screen. Her face showed a mix of fear and wonder. "At least 100 times our size." A collective gasp filled the bridge. "That's impossible," Jay said. "No intelligent species could grow that large." Do-hyun stood up from his chair. "We've always believed that intelligent life would be similar to us in size. It seems we were wrong." He walked to the main view screen, looking at the image of the alien city. Everything they could see was built on a scale that seemed impossible. "Hana, can we see these beings?" he asked. "I'll try to find them," she replied, adjusting the sensors. The image on the screen changed, zooming in on what appeared to be a path between structures. Then they saw them, giants walking on 2 legs, moving with purpose between the massive buildings. They look somewhat like us," Tae said in disbelief. 2 arms, 2 legs, 1 head, but so enormous. Do-hyun watched as one of the giants stopped to interact with another. They made sounds with their mouths, communication that the Nuri sensors picked up as deep, thunderous vibrations. "Tae, can our translators make sense of their language?" Do-hyun asked. Tae was already working on it. "Their sound patterns are much deeper than ours because of their size, but the universal translator is detecting patterns. With enough samples, we might be able to understand them." "Record everything," Do-hyun ordered, "but keep our distance. We don't know how they would react to us." For the next 3 days, the Starlight Pioneer orbited the planet, observing the giants from a safe distance. They learned that the giants called themselves humans, and their planet, Earth. The Nuri watched as humans moved in vehicles, built things, and lived lives that seemed both strange and familiar. "Their technology is different from ours," Hana reported during a meeting on the 4th day. "They build things to match their size. But in some ways, they're less advanced than us. They haven't mastered interstellar travel yet." "That's good news," said Jay. "It means we can observe them without them detecting us." Do-hyun nodded, but his mind was on something else. "What fascinates me is how similar they are to us despite the size difference. They build communities, they communicate, they seem to have art and culture." "But they're so big," Tae said, shuddering slightly. "One human could crush our entire ship without even noticing." "Size doesn't equal threat," Do-hyun reminded her. "We've seen no evidence that they're violent or dangerous, just different." That evening, Do-hyun sat alone in his quarters looking at the images they had collected. One showed a human female kneeling to help a small animal, some kind of pet that was still 10 times the size of a Nuri. The gentleness in that action struck him. "Captain, to the bridge immediately." Jay's voice came through the ship's communication system. Do-hyun rushed to the bridge. What's happening? We've been detected, Jay said, her voice tight with stress. One of their orbital devices has changed course. It's scanning in our direction. Stealth systems on maximum, Do-hyun ordered. Move us behind their moon. The ship moved quickly, hiding in the shadow of the planet's natural satellite. It was a close call, Hana said once they were safe. Their technology is more advanced than we thought. Do-hyun made a decision. We need to report back to the Nuri Galactic Council. This discovery changes everything we thought we knew about life in the universe. But before they could leave, Hana made another discovery. Captain, I've found something interesting, she said. There's a place on the planet where many humans gather to learn. They call it a university. And in one building, a human is giving a talk about the possibility of microscopic intelligent life. The screen showed a large room where one human stood in front of many others. Behind the speaking human was a display, showing small creatures that looked remarkably like the Nuri. They're theorizing about us, Do-hyun said in amazement. Or at least beings like us. The speaking human is named Jinwoo, Tai said, reading from her translation. He's suggesting that intelligent life might exist at very different scales throughout the universe. Do-hyun watched the human named Jinwoo with growing interest. This giant creature was thinking beyond its own experience, imagining beings it had never seen. We found something special here, Do-hyun said quietly. Not just a new species, but one that might be ready to understand us. As the Starlight Pioneer prepared to return home with their amazing news, Do-hyun made a note in his captain's Aibo log. Today we discovered that we are not alone in our quest to find other intelligent life. The giants of Earth are looking for us too, even if they don't know it yet. One day, perhaps, we will meet as equals, despite our difference in size. The ship turned away from Earth and accelerated toward home, but Do-hyun knew they would return. The giants had sparked too much curiosity to stay away for long. End of Part 1. 6 months had passed since the Starlight Pioneer returned to the Nuri homeworld. Captain Do-hyun stood before the Galactic Council, a group of 5 elder Nuri who made all important decisions. Your discovery is remarkable, said head counselor, Kwan. But also concerning, these humans are giants compared to us. That's why we need to learn more about them, Do-hyun replied. They might be large, but they showed signs of intelligence and curiosity. After 3 days of debate, the council made their decision. They would send the Starlight Pioneer back to Earth with better stealth technology. Their mission: set up a hidden base to watch and learn about humans. 2 weeks later, Do-hyun stood on the bridge with his trusted crew. Navigator Jay, Science Officer Hana, and Communications Specialist Tai had all volunteered to return. Are you nervous? Hana asked as the ship approached Earth. Do-hyun nodded. Yes, but also excited. We're about to do something no Nuri has done before, study giants up close. The ship entered Earth's atmosphere at night, invisible to human detection systems. They flew over vast cities with tall buildings and bright lights. According to our research, this place is called Seoul, Tai said. It's where we found that human Jinwoo who was talking about small life forms. That's our target, Do-hyun confirmed. If any human might accept our existence, it's him. They found Jinwoo's home, an apartment on the 12th floor of a tall building. The ship hovered outside the window, scanning the interior. No one's home, Jay reported. It's safe to enter. The ship moved through a small gap in the window frame. Inside, everything looked enormous. A chair was like a mountain. A table spread out like a vast plain. Find a secure location for our base, Do-hyun ordered. They decided on a spot inside the wall near Jinwoo's desk. Using special tools, they created a small opening and established their base inside the wall. It had everything they needed: sleeping quarters, research equipment, and a docking area for the ship. Sensors indicate the human is returning, Jay warned just as they finished setting up. The Nuri watched through tiny cameras as the apartment door swung open. Jinwoo walked in, carrying bags of food. He was enormous, nearly 200 times taller than Do-hyun. Incredible, whispered Hana, recording everything. Look how smoothly he moves for his size. For the next 2 weeks, the Nuri observed Jinwoo's daily life. They watched him eat, sleep, and work on his computer. They recorded his phone conversations and studied the way he lived. He lives alone, noted Tae, and spends much time studying the stars. He's looking for life out there, Do-hyun said, without realizing we're right here, watching him. One day, Hana took a risk. While Jinwoo was sleeping, she left the safety of their wall base. Protected by a personal cloaking device, she climbed onto his desk to look at his work. His research is fascinating, she reported later. He believes that intelligent life might exist at very different sizes. He's written a paper about it. Does he imagine beings as small as us? Asked Do-hyun. Even smaller, Hana replied. He suggests that intelligence isn't connected to size. As days passed, the Nuri grew bolder. Tae discovered a love for human music. She would sneak into Jinwoo's speakers when he played songs and feel the vibrations move through her body. It's amazing, she told the others. Their music is so deep and powerful because of their size. But it has beauty in it, just like our music. Do-hyun worried about these risks his crew was taking. We need to be careful. Remember, our mission is to observe, not interact. But it was hard not to feel connected to Jinwoo. They watched him talk to his family on video calls. They saw him help an elderly neighbor carry groceries. Once, they watched him rescue a small insect from his sink, carefully placing it outside instead of killing it. He's kind, Jay said one evening, even to creatures smaller than him. Size doesn't determine character, Do-hyun replied. That's something I've learned on this mission. 1 month into their stay, something unexpected happened. Jinwoo started working on a new research paper. The title made all the Nuri freeze in shock. Theoretical model for detecting microscopic intelligent life. He's getting too close to the truth, Jay said with concern. The Nuri watched as Jinwoo worked day and night on his paper. He created diagrams that looked surprisingly similar to Nuri technology. He wrote about how tiny beings might build societies and technologies adapted to their size. It's like he knows about us, Hana said. But that's impossible. Do-hyun faced a difficult choice. Their mission was to observe without being detected. But Jinwoo was on the verge of theorizing their exact existence. What if other humans didn't share his open-minded approach? What if revealing themselves put their entire species at risk? We should leave, Jay suggested. Return home with what we've learned. Or we could make contact, Tae countered. Jinwoo might understand. He's already thinking about beings like us. Do-hyun spent a sleepless night considering their options. The next morning he called his crew together. We will continue our mission as planned, he decided, but we'll be extra careful. No unnecessary risks. But fate had other plans. 3 days later, while Jinwoo was working late on his paper, the Nuri's cloaking system suffered a malfunction. For just a few seconds, their energy signature became visible to Jinwoo's instruments. Jinwoo stopped typing. He looked at his computer screen with confusion. Then he turned slowly toward the wall where the Nuri had their base. What was that? He whispered to himself, reaching for a scanning device he had built. Inside their base, alarms were blaring. Emergency. Protocol, Do-hyun shouted. Prepare for immediate evacuation. But it was too late. Jinwoo's scanner was pointing directly at their wall. His eyes widened as the device showed him what was hidden inside. Impossible, Jinwoo said in a voice that sounded like thunder to the Nuri. There's something in my wall, something artificial and tiny. Do-hyun looked at his frightened crew. Their cover was blown. The giant had found them. New plan, he said firmly. Prepare for first contact. None of them knew what would happen next. Would the human react with fear, curiosity, hostility? One thing was certain. Everything was about to change. End of part 2. Jinwoo moved closer to the wall, his scanning device beeping faster. Each step he took made the floor shake for the tiny Nuri. Everyone stay calm, Captain Do-hyun ordered his crew. Prepare the emergency defense systems, but do not attack unless I give the order. Inside their hidden base, the Nuri watched on screens as the giant human placed his ear against the wall. Then Jinwoo reached for a small tool on his desk. He's going to break through the wall, Navigator Jay said, her voice trembling. Do-hyun made a quick decision. Tae, activate the universal translator. If we can communicate with him, maybe we can avoid disaster. Communications specialist Tae worked quickly at her station. Translator ready, Captain. Hana, can you project my voice outside our base so the human can hear it? Do-hyun asked. Science Officer Hana nodded. Ready when you are. Jinwoo had started to make a small hole in the wall when he heard something unexpected. A tiny but clear voice. Please stop. We mean no harm. The human jumped back, dropping his tool in surprise. What? Who said that? Do-hyun took a deep breath. My name is Captain Do-hyun of the Nuri exploration vessel Starlight Pioneer. We are peaceful visitors from another world. Jinwoo looked around the room in confusion. Where are you? I can hear you, but I can't see you. We are inside your wall. We are much smaller than you. If you promise not to harm us, we will show ourselves. The human's eyes widened. Smaller? How much smaller? We are approximately 1/100th of your size, Do-hyun explained. Please sit down. Sudden movements could be dangerous for us. Jinwoo carefully sat in his chair, trying to stay as still as possible. This is incredible. Are you saying you're aliens? Extraterrestrial life? Yes. We come from a planet in what you call the Andromeda Galaxy. Do-hyun gave a signal, and a small panel in the wall slid open. The Starlight Pioneer emerged, hovering in the air before Jinwoo. The ship was only about the size of the human's palm. Amazing, Jinwoo whispered, leaning forward to see better. The ship landed on the desk. A small door opened, and Do-hyun stepped out. He stood tall, though he was only as big as Jinwoo's pinky finger. Greetings, Jinwoo, Do-hyun said, using the translator to amplify his voice. The human stared in wonder. You know my name? We've been studying you for the past month. We chose you because of your research on microscopic intelligent life. You seemed most likely to accept our existence. Jinwoo laughed softly. I was right all along. My professors said I was crazy to suggest tiny intelligent beings could exist. Over the next few hours, Do-hyun explained their mission to Jinwoo. He told him about the Nuri civilization, their technology, and why they had come to Earth. We've explored many star systems, Do-hyun said, but you are the first intelligent species we've encountered besides ourselves. And you're the first I've met too, Jinwoo said with a smile. Though I've always believed we weren't alone in the universe. The rest of the crew gradually joined Do-hyun on the desk. Jinwoo watched in fascination as the tiny beings moved around, setting up small devices to help with communication. Your technology is amazing, Jinwoo said, watching Hana work on a tiny computer. How can you build such advanced things at your size? Smaller doesn't mean less capable, Hana replied. We've simply developed technology suited to our scale. During their conversation, Jinwoo moved his hand too quickly at one point. The sudden movement caused a gust of air that knocked Tae off her feet. I'm so sorry, Jinwoo gasped, freezing in place. Tae stood up, brushing herself off. It's all right, no harm done. I need to be more careful, Jinwoo said. I could hurt you without even meaning to. This incident made both species realize how different their physical realities were. For the Nuri, even a gentle movement from Jinwoo could be dangerous. For Jinwoo, it was hard to interact with beings so small. Over the following days, they developed ways to coexist safely. Jinwoo cleared part of his desk as a designated area for the Nuri. He moved slowly when they were out of their base. The Nuri created a better communication system so they could talk more easily. 1 week after first contact, Jinwoo helped them repair their ship. The cloaking system had failed because of a damaged power cell. Though the component was tiny to Jinwoo, it was too large for the Nuri to replace easily. Like this? Jinwoo asked, carefully holding a minuscule part with tweezers. Perfect, Do-hyun confirmed. Now place it in the slot on the left. Working together, they fixed the ship faster than the Nuri could have done alone. This was the beginning of a productive partnership. Jinwoo kept the Nuri's existence secret from other humans. Some people might not understand, he explained. They might be afraid of you or worse, want to take advantage of your technology. Do-hyun agreed. The Galactic Council would not approve of wide contact yet. They sent us to observe, not to reveal ourselves. Despite these concerns, a friendship formed between Jinwoo and the Nuri crew. They spent evenings sharing stories about their worlds. Jinwoo told them about Earth's history and cultures. The Nuri described their home planet and their journeys through space. Our species are so different in size, Jinwoo said one night. But we share so many similarities. We both explore. We both seek knowledge. We both care about our communities. Size is just one characteristic, Do-hyun replied. It doesn't define who we are or what we can achieve. This idea was revolutionary for the Nuri. In their culture, they had always assumed larger beings would be less intelligent or more dangerous. Meeting Jinwoo challenged everything they thought they knew. On our world, Jay explained to Jinwoo, we avoid anything larger than ourselves. Bigger creatures are predators. We never imagined a giant could be gentle and kind. Jinwoo laughed. And humans often think smaller creatures are simple. We're both learning to see beyond size. As weeks passed, the initial fear on both sides faded. The Nuri no longer hid in their base when Jinwoo was home. They would sit on his desk while he worked, sharing ideas and helping with his research. Jinwoo became careful in his movements, always aware of his tiny friends. One evening, Do-hyun sat with Jinwoo by the window, looking at the stars. Despite their size difference, they shared the same view of the universe. Do you think our peoples could ever have an official relationship? Jinwoo asked. Not just us, but between all humans and Nuri? Do-hyun considered the question. It would be challenging. There would be fear and misunderstanding on both sides. But if we found the right way to introduce our species to each other, maybe it could work. Neither of them knew then how soon they would have to test this idea. A crisis was coming that would force both their worlds together in ways they couldn't imagine. End of Part 3. 1 month had passed since Jinwoo discovered the Nuri. Their friendship grew stronger each day. The tiny aliens spent less time in their wall base and more time on Jinwoo's desk, where they had built a small living area. One evening, as Jinwoo worked on his thesis paper about possible microscopic lifeforms, an urgent beeping sound came from the Nuri ship. What's that? Jinwoo asked, looking up from his computer. Captain Do-hyun rushed to their communication device. His face turned serious as he read the incoming message. It's an emergency signal from our homeworld, he said, his voice tight with worry. The crew gathered around their small screen. Jinwoo watched, unable to read the Nuri language but understanding from their faces that something was very wrong. What's happening? He asked after Do-hyun finished reading. Our planet is in danger, Do-hyun explained. Our astronomers have detected a large asteroid on course to hit our world. They estimate impact in 3 months. Can't they stop it? Jinwoo asked. Hana shook her head. The asteroid is too massive for our ships to move. Our weapons could break it into smaller pieces, but that might cause even more damage. Jinwoo leaned closer, careful not to move too suddenly. How big is this asteroid? By your measurements, Tae calculated, about 2 kilometers wide. That's big, Jinwoo agreed, but not impossible to deal with. Earth has plans for such threats. For your planet, perhaps, Do-hyun said. But our ships are small, like us. We don't have the physical power to move something so large. Jinwoo thought for a moment. What if we worked together? Human size and strength combined with Nuri technology? The idea was bold. It would mean revealing the existence of the Nuri to at least some humans. It would break both the Galactic Council's rules and Earth's normal way of handling first contact with aliens. The Council would never approve, Jay argued. Our mission was to observe, not to expose ourselves. But what choice do we have? Do-hyun countered. Our entire civilization could be destroyed. They debated through the night. By morning, Do-hyun made his decision. "I will request permission from the Galactic Council to seek human help," he announced. "But we must be careful about which humans we trust." Jinwoo suggested his professor, Dr. Sung, who led Korea's space program. "He's open-minded and has the resources to help. I trust him." 3 days later, after sending their request to the Nuri homeworld, they received a response. The council was desperate enough to approve limited contact with humans. The next day, Jinwoo brought Dr. Sung to his apartment. The professor was told only that Jinwoo had made an important discovery. "This better be worth canceling my lectures," Dr. Sung said as he entered the apartment. "It is, Professor. Please sit down. What I'm about to show you will change everything we know about the universe." Dr. Sung sat at Jinwoo's desk, not yet noticing the tiny structures on one corner. Jinwoo took a deep breath. "Professor, we are not alone in the universe, and I can prove it." Dr. Sung raised an eyebrow. "What are you talking about?" Jinwoo gestured to the corner of his desk. "May I introduce Captain Do-hyun of the Nuri people?" Dr. Sung followed Jinwoo's gesture and finally noticed the tiny figures. His eyes widened in shock. "What trick is this?" he demanded. "Some kind of robots?" "No trick, sir," Do-hyun said, his voice amplified by their translator. "We are real. We come from a planet in the Andromeda galaxy." For several minutes, Dr. Sung could only stare. Then he asked questions, one after another. Where did they come from? How did they get here? Why were they so small? The Nuri answered patiently. Finally, Do-hyun explained their crisis. "Our homeworld faces destruction. We need help to save our people." To everyone's surprise, Dr. Sung started laughing. "Is something funny?" Jinwoo asked, confused. "Don't you see the irony?" Dr. Sung said. "For years, humans have imagined meeting aliens who would either conquer us or save us from ourselves. Instead, we meet tiny beings who need our help." His laughter subsided, Dr. Sung became serious again. "But how can we help? Korea's space program is good, but we don't have the technology to reach your planet." "We have the technology for space travel," Do-hyun explained. "What we lack is the physical ability to move a large asteroid. If we combine our navigation systems and propulsion technology with your construction capabilities, we might create a solution." Dr. Sung thought for a moment. "So you're suggesting we build a human-sized ship using your advanced technology. We would need to keep this secret. If word got out about aliens, there would be panic and confusion." "Exactly," Jinwoo agreed. "A small team of trusted scientists and engineers. We tell them only what they need to know." Over the next few weeks, Dr. Sung brought together a team of 5 experts. They were told they were working on an experimental asteroid deflection system. The Nuri stayed hidden while Jinwoo served as the go-between. They worked in a secure laboratory at the university. The Nuri provided plans for engines far more powerful than anything humans had developed. The human engineers built larger versions of these engines, struggling to understand the advanced science but following the detailed instructions. "This technology is at least a century ahead of ours," one engineer commented. "Whoever designed this is a genius." Little did he know, Hana was listening from her hiding place, pleased that her engine designs were being appreciated. As the project progressed, Dr. Sung raised an important question. "Your plans are excellent, but when we finish this ship, who will pilot it? None of my people have experience with this technology." Jinwoo had been thinking about this. "I'll do it." "Absolutely not," Dr. Sung protested. "You're a student, not an astronaut. I've been working with the Nuri for months. I understand their technology better than anyone, and they trust me." Do-hyun supported the idea. "Jinwoo has learned quickly. With our guidance, he can do this." The debate was heated, but eventually Dr. Sung gave in. Jinwoo began training immediately, with the Nuri teaching him everything he needed to know. 2 months later, the ship was ready. It looked like a normal, human spacecraft from the outside, but inside it contained technology beyond anything Earth had created. It was designed to carry 1 human pilot and the entire Nuri crew. The night before the launch, Jinwoo sat in his apartment with his tiny friends. They would all leave Earth the next day on a dangerous mission. Are you afraid? Tay asked him. Jinwoo nodded. Yes, but I'm also excited. This is why I became a scientist, to explore and discover and to help others. On our world, Do-hyun said, we have a saying. The smallest star still shines in the darkest night. It means that size doesn't determine importance. Your help proves this is true. Jinwoo smiled. On Earth, we say, a friend in need is a friend. Indeed. It means true friendship shows during difficult times. They talked late into the night, sharing stories and hopes for the future. Tomorrow would bring great danger, but also the chance to save an entire civilization. As Jinwoo finally went to sleep, Do-hyun stood on the windowsill, looking at the stars. The mission ahead was risky. Even if they succeeded in deflecting the asteroid, relations between humans and Nuri would be forever changed. But perhaps that change would be for the better. End of Part 4. The launch day arrived with clear skies. The special ship sat on a private launch pad at Korea's Space Center. From the outside, it looked like a normal research vessel. Inside, it held technology no human had seen before. Jinwoo wore a standard spacesuit as he walked toward the ship. In his breast pocket, safely secured, were Captain Do-hyun and his crew in their own tiny spacesuits. Dr. Sung met them at the launch pad. Everything is ready. As far as anyone knows, this is just a routine satellite mission. Thank you for everything, Jinwoo said, shaking his professor's hand. Come back safely, Dr. Sung replied. Both of you. He glanced at Jinwoo's pocket, knowing the Nuri were there. Inside the ship, Jinwoo strapped himself into the pilot's seat. The Nuri crew came out of his pocket and moved to a small platform built especially for them. It had tiny control stations, connected to the main systems. All systems check, Do-hyun announced, his voice coming through a speaker near Jinwoo. Engines ready, added Hana from her station. Navigation set, Jay confirmed. Communications online, Tae reported. Jinwoo took a deep breath. Then let's save your world. The launch went smoothly. Once in space, Jinwoo activated the special engines designed by the Nuri. The ship moved at incredible speed, far faster than any human vessel had traveled before. At this rate, we'll reach the asteroid in 3 days, Hana calculated. For those 3 days, the human and Nuri worked together in their strange, size-mismatched partnership. Jinwoo handled the physical tasks that required human-sized hands. The Nuri managed the complex navigation and engine systems that humans didn't fully understand. It's amazing, Jinwoo said during a rest period. Your people built such advanced technology despite your size. And your people built impressive things despite not having advanced technology, Do-hyun replied. Both are achievements in their own way. On the 3rd day, they spotted the asteroid. It was massive, like a mountain floating in space. Hitting a planet at high speed, it would cause devastation. Now comes the hard part, Do-hyun said. We need to attach our engines to the asteroid and push it off its course. The plan was dangerous. Jinwoo would have to spacewalk to the asteroid's surface and place special devices designed by the Nuri. These devices would create a powerful force to change the asteroid's direction just enough to miss the Nuri planet. Jinwoo put on his spacesuit again. This time, Do-hyun joined him in his own suit. You don't have to come, Jinwoo said, concerned for his friend's safety. Yes, I do, Do-hyun replied. My people's fate is at stake. Besides, you'll need me to calibrate the devices correctly. The spacewalk was terrifying. Jinwoo moved carefully, across the asteroid's surface, placing each device where Do-hyun directed from his shoulder. The tiny captain looked even smaller against the vast backdrop of space. Just one more, Do-hyun said as they placed the 5th device. Suddenly, the asteroid shifted slightly. Jinwoo lost his footing and began to drift away from the surface. No, he shouted, reaching desperately for anything to grab. Do-hyun acted quickly. Despite his small size, he leaped from Jinwoo's shoulder and activated his suit's emergency thrusters. He shot toward the last device, which was still attached to Jinwoo's belt. Grabbing it, he used his momentum to pull Jinwoo back toward the asteroid. The human grabbed a rock outcropping and steadied himself. That was close, thank you. We look out for each other, Do-hyun said simply. Now let's place this last device and get back to the ship. With all 6 devices in position, they returned to the ship. Everyone held their breath as Hana activated the system. The devices glowed on the asteroid's surface. Slowly, very slowly, the huge rock began to change course. "It's working," Jay exclaimed, watching the navigation screen. "Calculations show it will now miss our planet by a safe margin." The cheer that went up inside the ship crossed all language and size barriers. Human and Nuri celebrated together. They had saved millions of lives. The journey to the Nuri homeworld took 2 more weeks. For Jinwoo, it was an incredible experience, the first human to visit another inhabited planet. From orbit, the Nuri world looked beautiful, blue-green with white clouds, not unlike Earth. But when they landed, Jinwoo truly understood how different it was. Everything was built to Nuri scale. Buildings that looked massive to the Nuri were like dollhouses to Jinwoo. The Nuri people had been warned about their giant visitor. Still, many ran in fear when Jinwoo first stepped outside. But with Do-hyun and his crew explaining, the fear gradually turned to curiosity and then gratitude. "You saved us," one elder Nuri told Jinwoo through a translator. "We will never forget this." For 3 days, Jinwoo stayed on the Nuri world, carefully moving around their tiny cities, learning about their culture. The Galactic Council held a special ceremony to thank him, presenting him with a small crystal that contained the history of their people. "This is just the beginning," Do-hyun said on Jinwoo's last night there. "Our worlds will never be the same now that we know about each other." When Jinwoo returned to Earth, he found things had changed there too. The secret couldn't be kept completely. Rumors had spread about the real purpose of the satellite mission. Government officials had questioned Dr. Sung repeatedly. "It's time to tell the truth," Dr. Sung told Jinwoo. "At least part of it." A week later, at a special United Nations meeting, Jinwoo and Dr. Sung revealed the existence of the Nuri to selected world leaders. The revelation caused shock, disbelief, and eventually acceptance. 1 year later, the first official human embassy to the Nuri homeworld opened. It was specially designed so both species could use it comfortably. Jinwoo, now an interspecies diplomat, worked there alongside Do-hyun. The embassy had 2 sections, one built to human scale and one to Nuri scale. In the central garden designed for both species to enjoy, Jinwoo sat carefully on a bench while Do-hyun stood on a raised platform nearby. "Remember when we first met?" Jinwoo asked with a smile. "You were hiding in my wall, and you nearly crushed me with your giant fingers," Do-hyun replied, laughing. "Now look at us, diplomats building peace between our worlds." Do-hyun looked out at the garden where human and Nuri children were being introduced under careful supervision. The Nuri children looked at the human children with wonder rather than fear. "My people always thought being small made us vulnerable," Do-hyun said thoughtfully. "Now we understand that the universe doesn't care about size." Jinwoo nodded carefully, mindful of his movements around his small friend. "And humans have learned that sometimes the greatest wisdom comes in the smallest packages." As the sun set on the embassy garden, the human and the Nuri sat in comfortable silence. They were different in almost every physical way possible. One could hold the other in the palm of his hand. Yet they had found friendship and mutual respect that crossed the boundaries of size and space. That night, Do-hyun added one final entry to his captain's log. "We came looking for intelligent life among the stars. We found giants who taught us that true greatness isn't measured by physical size, but by the capacity for compassion, curiosity, and cooperation. In their shadow, we stand taller than ever before." End of part 5.